live in Illing. Here we go. People are gonna start thinking I know what I'm doing, which is terrifying.
I'm just trying to make sense of all of this. There's so many things.
Twitch makes no sense.
Hey, there I am.
That's the spoiler. Whoa, okay. Some friendos are already in here. So, Tal, Dorcas, Alpha, the Deluge, J-Post, Jarrowland. What ho, friends? What ho? Welcome. They're coming in.
Look at all the people.
Dude, you don't understand, like, I have been excited to introduce you to this lot for feckin' ages. I am very happy, I'm very proud of my crowd. Also, I'm being a complete nerd, I'm rocking my own merch today whilst talking to you.
Wait, would you like me to go rock my own merch? Because I can make
Heck yeah, dude!
It's actually not up for sale right. It'll be up for sale soon again, but it's not.
Dude, go grab it while I say hi to everybody. I'll introduce you proper in like 10, and I still haven't written that tweet. So I'm gonna do that now.
Hey, what? 1 second. Hey, Kirk, you give me one of the new shirts.
Oh. Yeah. So McIsland, Arden, what oh friends?
All right, I'm gonna put on our new shirt that no one has seen yet and give you an exclusive Is that the Jeff Keighley? An exclusive preview.
That was some solid Keighley impersonations. I told him to go fuck himself to his face once. That is actually one of my career
That
highlights.
wasn't nice. That was...
No, but it was very funny, and he was very drunk. He took it in good humor. So
he's good at taking jokes. I like Keighley. He's nice. He's always been nice to me. He's interviewed me a few times. I talked to him on game trailers. That was sort of Keighley was who taught me how to like deal with interviewers.
Okay. And now you're stuck talking to my sorry ass.
Yeah, you got to throw in the like surprise questions you have not warned me about to truly Keighley.
to fully keel. I can probably do a half Keighley. I can probably max a half Keighley.
I like the idea of a half Keighley.
Go. Oh wait, I was to say, you go get your t-shirt from the corner.
Oh, it's on its way.
OMG was started on time.
I'll move off camera and change real quick, and then I'll come back.
So Stepagen just threw me a bunch of cheers to mock me for starting on time. I start on time all the time.
There still isn't a tweet I can reach.
I'm trying to do the thing.
You've been saying you've been trying to get a tweet out for 20 minutes. That's a while. There's only 280 possible characters.
So imagine my surprise.
That's funny.
Alright. See, the thing is, I know you, so I can't do one of those like, hi, welcome to my show. I'm Demon Mikey Neumann today. You might know him from that one time we were at the Figuretto.
The Figuretto?
Yeah.
Is that the new hotel in downtown LA with the very
Stop
good
that excessive clicking.
I believe that's the full. And feckin' hell, they're kicking off already. So one of my friendos just gave, a random person just gave a sub to Nom Nom Fighter. Bloody hell, this is going to be on point.
1 moment.
Go do the thing. And also Stepagen. That's 3 emotes for everybody with the pride thing. So who's coming in? Oh, I need you on the other side. Why aren't you over here? Welcome back. Welcome back.
There we go. The very good new merch. Exclusive. It says fight less, talk more, say sorry sometimes.
Aww. That's fucking cool.
What's with you and feckin' all of a sudden? It's
So,
like a new thing. You're trying to make fetch happen right now.
So when I started streaming, I tried to roll back on my swearing a little, and some regrets have come true. Aww.
Hello, Mikey. I know nothing about you except that Will thinks you are cool.
Thank you,
So, you must
Jerry
be cool.
Lynn.
Tell us about
With the
yourself
pride
today,
flag.
less than 3.
I know nothing about you except that Will thinks you're cool. That's
Shut up!
mostly-
Gerald, I'm
that's
pretending to be
it.
cool.
He is very cool. I thought he was Simon Pegg when we met. I was like, no way. And I was trying to think of like what's the worst Simon Pegg movie to then reference? Are you the Simon Pegg from How to Alienate? What was that movie called?
Oh, How to Make Friends and Alienate. No.
Yeah, something. Like, in the chat, type what you think the worst Simon Pegg movie is. And if you write Hot Fuzz, I will hang up the call right now.
I gotta say, what is it? Oh, the one where he has the superpower to do anything. That's so far, I think, the worst one. Oh, it was sadly Robin Williams' last film.
Oh, then it's automatically good because it has value in the artistic.
It does. Robin Williams plays a talking dog that threatens to shag.
That's amazing.
Oh, the film doesn't hold up to that descriptor. What was I doing?
You know what? I will accept Star Trek Into Darkness as Simon Pegg's worst film. I think that is a very fair assessment. Not that it isn't kind of fun to watch, but like, just gonna check to see if the tweet is there.
I'm writing it right now! Oh my god! Why am I getting raided? Who is that? Stooge, get the bloody hell in here! Also, that little gif there, that's in real time. That's in real time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was last E3. I was very excited.
You excited? No. Go down.
So friendos, I will introduce you to Mikey in a second, but it is worth noting, we actually met at E3, like...
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like, what were the big games of that E3?
Well, the Payday 2 booth was the one behind us, and they were giving out, like, the free money and those really creepy masks.
Yes.
That was...
Which seems like a questionable decision to hand out, like, bank robbery masks.
Yeah, it
Because,
does.
like, the likeliness that one of them will be used in said bank robbery is not zero. You know what I mean? Like,
It's higher than none. Right, what was I doing? Tweeting!
Stop clicking.
Oh, that's feckin' cool. Someone gifted you a sub.
So I go on people's Twitch shows and they give me, because I'm not even like logged in right now. They knew my name somehow on Twitch, which is amazing.
People are strong like that. But
I never know what to do with subs because I'm just like, cool, thanks.
Enjoy your emotes, my friend.
Oh, okay, now I understand. Thank you for the emotes. That actually I will use.
So friendos, I'm just going to bang out a tweet that I'm going to introduce you to our wonderful, wonderful guest proper.
It only took 25 minutes to bang out that tweet.
Mate, this isn't even the slowest. Right, I have stolen Mikey Face and will be subjecting him to questions about films, games, and being kind.
Yeah. Being kind is cool.
Really is.
True story. Now they're all on you for the tweets.
Yeah, dude, this is not even... Come join us! The picture is unrelated. Alright, come join us. Also, I just realized I haven't sent you the,
Captain on the bridge.
Yo, someone just popped up. Oh, Fire Strager. So, Twitch subs are a little bit of a weird one. You can do them in tiers.
Can I do it? Can I be like, hey, thanks, Fire Striga, for the 8-month subscription?
You really can, Mikey. You really can.
I love that part when like people have to stop and thank everyone. For some reason I find that very calming.
It's
when
lovely.
people they're like shooting someone in the face and they're like, hey, thanks, Strap Throat 69. That.
Like,
why was that the name I came
Hello,
up with?
Will.
Strep throat
I'm the ultimate
69.
level of trash today.
420,
I made a
420.
mixture of sugar, eggs, milk, flour,
The
and oats.
perfect name.
To know if that is the word. And I'm drinking it raw. Yes, I am drinking raw uncooked cake.
and then we get little flashes into people's lives. So, Tenwin, thank you for the 500 bits. That is very worrying. That is very worrying. Cook your cake. Take the mug, put it in the microwave, make a mug cake. Do better. But thank you, dude. Thank you. But yeah, so what you were saying about like the thanking people, it's one of the things I love about being on Twitch is because like there's such a like you can't get up yourself because you're constantly reminded that you're kept upright by a whole bunch of lovely people. You see that direct.
If only Twitch worked like a stage show where they could also like buy you a shot and you're like, oh, thanks.
Oh, mate.
Jack face 12 for the rum.
That's why I don't drink when I stream because
it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, my capacity, my intolerance would kill me. So yeah, Stepper Jen and people, thank you for refilling our teeny tiny pint glass. I've almost done the tweet.
I've seen your tolerance. It's strong.
That's one of the reasons why I think we ended up friends.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we got drinking with fucking Yanni from Yanni? The guy who was doing Unraveled brought Yanni to the Fig.
Yes. Yeah. That was was that Hollander Cooper?
I think so. He was such a lovely bloke.
Yeah, he just had it at Figueroa, and everyone got to take pictures with their drinks and Yarny. See, we have good, wholesome fun.
All right, the tweet is done. It only took all time.
No.
Shocking, I know. All right, and Tal sent me some of the pre-cooked questions. So we are fucking ready to go.
Retweeting.
Oh shit, it's happening.
4 more people will show up right now.
Now I need to. How do you do there? Anyway, that's a problem for me. Not a problem for you. So no one was saying people could buy you a shot. Will would be dead before sending the damn tweet. It would take me a little while to be dead from that. I have a surprisingly high survivability. I'd regret it the next day, but I wouldn't die.
I can also vouch for his surprisingly high survivability. Been there for that one.
That was a good time. Right. So, as I have finally banged out a tweet, as I've got all of the nonsense going, I think it's time for me to do a proper introduction, and let's go from that.
Let's go.
Ladies, gentlemen, and individuals of all persuasions, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to Mikey Neumann. For some reason, has been an industry friendo of mine for a feckin' age, and is now the sole proprietor of all films.
Weird they just gave them to me.
Yeah,
like,
I think no one asked.
Stone showed up, and I was like, I don't think you own them either, bud. But he gave them to me. So.
Yep. Also, do you mind if I push people to the Patreon? Because they can find your YouTube stuff.
I mean, the YouTube pushes you to Patreon. You can. It's just patreon.com/moviesandmikey. But, like, I always feel weird opening with that because you're like, hi, we've never met. Give me money. Like, that's not... It's like a bad way to do it. So I generally want to earn your patronage.
Yeah, I guess I'm jumping, like, 3 steps ahead. Because if people haven't seen your work... although it's still... Sorry.
It's pretty good. I just released an episode on The Matrix.
Yeah, dude.
Years later.
I mean, come on, YouTube, do the thing.
Give Mikey money.
What? Quasi just
200
says...
bits. Give Mikey money.
Give Mikey money. It looks like it's happening.
Wait, can we gift this?
Fight less, talk more. Say sorry sometimes.
This is the new gift.
This is the new gift.
Give me money.
Someone will have to bust
you see how I very considerately went back and forth so that it could properly loop. See, I'm thinking.
You've got it going down. Bear with me all just a second. I do apologize.
I love that it's like, bear with me a moment. I am in a GameWorks.
Yeah, that whole thing is very surreal, my friend.
I wish I had known that was what happened, so I could be at the Dave & Buster's, and we could kind of run on like the doodle jump machine where you're like, games went backwards. I don't know.
I don't know when it happened, but it did. Like this. I am pushing a whole bunch of buttons, so thank you all for bearing with me. Alright, Ray's decided those bits of Mikey's has happened. I have no control. The other
put him in a bucket for me. I like to collect the bits.
I might be the host of the show, but I'm in no means in charge, so yeah. So, YouTube/Filmjoy. That's where you want to be at. That's where you want to be at.
There's a lot of videos. If you like binging film essays, then there's a few.
Okay, so I guess for some of my crew that haven't met you, for some of the people who are still filtering in. So, I mean, Mikey, your career is as varied as they come.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I became aware of you as an individual, I think, back during the Escapist Golden Age. Like, that weird little, 2-3 year span when the Escapist was just belting out videos.
Yeah, I kind of cut my teeth making a web show on there. It was all right. It was fun. It was fun to, experiment with serialized content. It was cool.
But for those who don't know, so, give us a little brief history of Mikey. Because I know
Mikey?
you, because I know you from there, and I know you from Gearbox, but that can't be all there is.
I mean, well, Gearbox is 16 years though. You have to because when I was
years.
Yeah, and before that, actually pre-Gearbox was sort of in the Half-Life mapping community. I had a website called MapCore back in the day, which recently came up again.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, I was making textures and stuff. Made a bunch of textures for Dave Defeat. That was fun. I always loved playing.
You're on Dave Defeat. Mate, I played the shite out of that.
Yeah, true story. If you own Day of Defeat retail, look at the .wad files.
I came out the
Mike
server 4 to 5 person free for all.
No, it's okay.
Basically, in quick play mode, 5 people all happen to be in the roughly same area, and I came out the victor with at least 3 confirmed
they're really
kills.
dumb names, which I named after myself for texture packs, because I was 17.
It does indeed happen. It does indeed happen. Sorry, I forgot to get you a cute little link that allows you to listen if people throw in bits. So bear with me just a second.
Can you just make it with your mouth? Can you be like, and that'll
I can.
so much.
I can.
There was a little Mario. Wow.
So 10 Winter and another 500 there. Thank you, good sir. Let's come back to Hunt Showdown in a little bit. We've got Mikey for at least a couple hours, so we're going to focus on stuff around that for the short term. But we will come back to Hunt Showdown chat later on. Right. So, dude, did you come in for opposing thoughts?
Right after. The first thing I really worked on was Half-Life
as what it will.
Which had the co-op campaign Half-Life Decay. One of the I did some QA stuff on that, but one of the first things I did was for a PC port that never really happened because I think the sort of Half-Life expansion thing had come and gone. But I did the PC front end for Half-Life Decay, and then I went straight on to Counter-Strike Condition Zero.
What is this Counter-Strike you speak of? It's like an indie thing, right?
It's back, apparently. I don't know. Thanks, Gun Game. That's not what happened. Gun Game was that thing that was like, woo!
I mean, I still hear tale of it. Also, I want to say...
It was fun.
So, Jeremiah Wheeler and a couple of other peeps are coming in, our old industry friendos. So, we're going to be talking the old tales of the old video games. So come, one and all. Find yourself a seat.
Yeah, you for some reason have to be. Oh, that joke was gonna be funny, and I forgot his name. Barbosa. Is that the pirate played by Jeffrey Rush?
That is the pirate that I can do the most. So when people throw out a pirate voice, I'm like, "Yar! Ye be wanting more than you truly understand."
It is weird how cliche his pirate is, but for some reason when it's Jeffrey Rush.
It just
doesn't
works.
Seem cliche?
Is there a level of skill you get to where you can just throw cliche cards down and they actually hit the crit?
he is a drop of sweat away from just saying "shiver me timbers." Like,
I think he could do it.
Yeah. Give us the Barbossa spinoff, you cowards.
Yeah, that's what the people want. Give the people what they want. So I sent it to you via the Twitters. If you wanna, there's a teeny tiny link. If you bring that up, you're gonna be able to hear not only when people send like bits and stuff, but if they send you a question via that, you'll be able to hear it. If that's a thing that you need in your life.
I'm just looking at. I like things very simple.
I'm good with that. I'm happy to be the host and the MC of this. So you came from like a modding background, and
yeah, I was making textures in college and high school and Counter-Strike maps with my friend Brian, and Gearbox picked me up, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me a while to kind of find my sea legs, so to speak. And then Brothers in Arms is really when I kind of figured out what my I don't want to say gifts were, because that sounds really condescending and awful, but like what you're good at and why you should have a job.
Yeah, in video games, as I'm sure a lot of you know, it's like you get thrown into a large team and there's a shite ton of stuff going on simultaneously. And yeah, you could be competent at a lot of things, but knowing which bits you've got that real aptitude for, you've got to work on a few projects before you can realize that.
I think one of the best way to sort of illustrate my career was when you go from like the Brothers in Arms trilogy, which I wrote all those. I thought I was like, oh, this is, reverent, and it was, but like I was like, this is what I'm meant for. Somebody's gonna tattoo this on their body, my beautiful words, and you always like think that. For some reason, as a writer, you're like, someone will quote me on their flesh, and that did not happen with Brothers in Arms. And so Boarderlands comes out and Zombie Island of Dr. Ned, the first DLC, comes out.
Yeah.
And someone tattooed a line, the Claptrap says on they walked up at PAX and they're like, dude, check it out. And the line was, I pooped where you're standing. And like that, but that was the moment it clicked. It was like, just show them joy, and that's all you need to, like, they're there to be entertained. They're not there to be preached at. They're there to absorb, and like that sort of ended up building my philosophy throughout my career in a funny way. First of all, you're a robot, so I don't even know how to unpack that, but I mean, I wrote it. I feel like I should be able to unpack it, but
Alnus is like truly a modern day Wild. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, but that is important when you think you're like affecting lives and doing this stuff, and you're like, someone will tattoo this, and then actually it was just the thing that made him laugh. That's not a bad lesson to learn, I think, actually.
The thing is, doing this, I'm essentially the other way around. Like the little tattoo I've got, like a little Hollow Knight grub, was something that someone else made for this, and so it's my first little piece of fan art from going indie. So,
Tinwin, I was not the voice of Claptrap. I was the voice of Scooter, but I wrote Borderlands stuff.
So, how much of Scooter's voice did you do?
All of it.
So you did Tails.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That game was not supposed to make me cry, you asshole.
Actually, what's funny is how are we allowed to spoil stuff? Is that because like that game's pretty old, and like I have a really interesting story about the recording of that game.
Hey, you know what? I'd love to hear it. It's sadly because of like the Telltale stuff, I don't think it's available.
Reactor online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
All right. Well, either way, Scooter does not live through Tales from the Borderlands, which was kind of the cool surprise, was to let one of our characters perish.
Okay, very quickly. Whip! That's the thing made an alertment, and Prof's done his 8 months. Just says thank you for streaming from Professor Farnsworth.
This is where the cars leave, get you. But when we were recording the death that day, because it was like 2 hours of recording, while driving to the recording, I got a phone call that actually this tattoo right here, that one of my family members had passed. So, and like it was just kind of like I go home and cry and just be sad or actually like do my job. So the emotion in there is real. Like that, I actually just used it.
Well, I feel bad because the backing music behind us is very jovial and absolutely does not fit that story.
I like how we tell this very sad story and then it's like, Koopa Troopa has taken the lead.
It's a feckin' Mario machine. I'm gonna take a wrench to it. I mean, absolutely not. Thank you to my GameWorks sponsors. But no, that was one of the things that was so incredible about Tales of the Borderlands is that kind of emotional impact wasn't something that people would have attributed to Borderlands as an IP standalone, and it absolutely like gut punched me in the feels. It did such a good job, and I really want to take a moment to celebrate that. And knowing that performance came from a real place made sense.
Well, what was funny about Tales and Jim, because we had a few conversations going into it. The funny thing about Borderlands is Scooter has one volume. And that volume is, hey, I'll get you, hey, what's going on? Where's the yogurt at? Let's put it in our butts. What? Like, that's kind of and he's just always screaming. And like, Telltale games there's levels and subtleties. So suddenly it was like, what does Scooter sound like when he's in a room with you just talking? So we had to find a way to kind of, you got to find all the levels and come back down. And what were you saying again? And like, it was really fun for me as an actor to or what actually made Scooter tick, considering that he literally came from an Obama joke. Obama! That was it. It was just, I screamed the name and everybody laughed and we're like, that's the speed.
So you're telling me that is the origin of Scooter?
Yeah, well, that was on Borderlands 1, and we had recorded half the dialogue already. And I remember looking out from the booth at everybody in the recording room, and everybody was kind of like, because like Scooter started here, and he was real. And everyone just looked bored. So I, like, between takes, I just stopped, and then I went, Obama! And everyone busted out laughing, and I was like, okay, what if I just scream them like a useless moron? And Scooter was born. So, like, I love making this joke, and I made it before, but Scooter is literally, thanks, Obama.
That is fucking splendid. Yeah, Arden's very proud because you managed to get me to do a spit take there. It was almost a spray. It was definitely a double. It was definitely a double.
A spray take, as they said.
So, going for the Mikey Greatest Hits discography. So, video games wise, you've done the Brothers in Arms series, which a lot of people gave it a shout out in chat. Like, there was some, and Jeremiah Wheeler was saying that Road to Hell was woefully underappreciated, and I was second there. No, sorry, Through Hell's Highway. When I say Road to Hell,
Road to Hell 30, Earned in Blood, Hell's Highway.
So after that, Borderlands happened. For those who don't know, Borderlands had a very, very long development cycle, and as someone who has worked on those kind of games, was there a worry that Borderlands wasn't going to sell? Because it had a redesign, it was in there for a long ass time.
I mean, the reality is, and the way I like to look at it, because I appreciate the work everyone did on that game. I think there's a tiny bit of truth there insofar that, yeah, there was some fear that even though the gameplay was amazing, maybe it wouldn't be as recognized against this crop of kind of shooters that look like that.
Yeah.
And sort of, you had the art team kind of secretly doing this art style reboot. And as that came online, everyone got behind. Like that, I've never seen a development team go, but that, and it's risky, and you don't do that. But everyone was like, yeah, but that, and that was right around when I came on, right as the art style was changing, and they were kind of going through and redoing all the assets to be that concept art.
Thank you, not likely.
Thank you, not. I don't know what we're thanking you for.
Got some cheeky follows.
I remember sitting down to play the game, and like it was one of those things where we sat down like a Saturday and we ended up not working. We just played the game for 9 hours. Like playing that game co-op, it just goes like it absorbs you, and it was somewhere around lighting the like 14th, person on fire, or their eyeballs came out of their skull, and you're like, and I was like, so this game's funny then. And it was, because I didn't really have a lot of time. I did like the intro with a guy named Richard Jessup, and that was really fun. The rock and roll intro, that was cool to jump in on.
Fucking Cage the Elephant!
Yeah.
Thanks for getting that stuck in my head for like a year, you asshole.
Dude, I walked into a Potbelly once. You know how at Potbelly sometimes they do there was a guy playing music or a girl playing music?
Yeah.
And they recognized the Gearbox crew, and when we walked in, the dude started going, and I was like,
mate, that is awesome!
Is this what being famous feels like? Like just that one day for that one time at a sandwich place? No. But yeah, I remember being like, Borderlands to me was about meeting people and being drawn to them more than like telling this densely plotted thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of took a lot of the pieces that were there with Randy Pitchford. We actually sat in a room together, just threw stuff back and forth. And that's kind of how it got written. Like, I remember I got a draft from him through some other people of like the Tannis stuff. And I really wanted to experiment with like her specifically. It was about a person that was like very short with people and a little bit on the spectrum, which a thing I know.
Oh, indeed.
But like, it was like, what happens when that person is driven out of their mind? Because they're aware that it's happening, and actually they're so smart that they can explain what's happening, but they're also like bananas, but like lovably so, but also a murderer. Borderlands. It's like the aristocrat.
Sorry,
who wants to sing?
So while Compliment Cap is continuing a sub-gift, which is fucking rad, also my friendo from behind the scenes just murdered the sound on the Mario Kart machine, so Luigi no speaker no more. Luigi dead.
Wow! I'll just keep doing that at random.
No, it was interesting because a lot of the characterization, even in Borderlands 1, despite it being, Diablo in a Mad Max scenario is as
Borderlands was a huge influence on me. Thank you for your contributions to it.
Frontline, you feckin' ledge. Frontline threw in 200 cheers just to say thank you, yo.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, that's feckin' cool.
You love the feckin' word.
I do.
Like half this broadcast.
No one's done a Will Says Feck supercut yet, but I'm waiting.
It would be like 4 hours long.
Nothing worth doing is ever easy, my friend.
Yeah, don't I know?
But we'll get onto that. Yeah, so the reason I was asking about like Borderlands is because it did drop during that kind of like that 360 era where like the games industry was just crammed with shooters, like wall to fucking wall, and Borderlands came out after a not stupidly long, but for the time long dev cycle, blew the bloody doors off, sold worldwide. Now someone's got your fecking words tattooed on their arm. Like, what next, man? What happened after that?
I mean, like, if you're segueing, because like, Gearbox was a full-time job, but there was a point in there gosh, 5 years ago now, almost to the day. Within 2 weeks of 5 years before now, I put up sort of a proto-film essay, because like film essays weren't quite what they were back then.
Yes, there was white guy gets angry a lot.
Red Letter Media was firing off, but it was that, and like Good Bad Flicks is another one I remember.
Stop that incessant clicking.
That was kind of like.
God, thank you.
But yeah, I just threw up a thing about Ninja Turtles and 90s movies for a few episodes, and it didn't really grow an audience, and I realized it wasn't really what I wanted to do. It was kind of there, but not quite, and it wasn't until I put up an episode about The World's End, which Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg both tweeted, and I was like, maybe this is what I should do. Like, maybe celebrating the art of people and sort of explaining what you took away, instead of being like, this movie is good or this movie is bad. Like, it's not a review.
Yeah.
This is what the art means to me, kind of thing. Like, and maybe we can take some lessons from that art. And that's really, I think, the genesis of what Movies of Mikey ended up becoming. Because I'm not telling you like this movie was good. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Because I don't care about scores. I don't care about ranks. I think that's dumb because it's art. Because everybody's different. Like, no single reviewer works for everyone, you know. But if I can just explain what the art is, maybe I can draw an audience that way. And it ended up becoming my full-time job when I went to the hospital for however many times now, where I almost died.
Yeah. I think it was one of the PAX ones. I saw you before you went in. No, that was the food poisoning. That was a different one.
Oh yeah. I did. The PAX East was the bad one, and that was 2017. I came back and my body just and 3 months later I quit my job, started a Patreon, and said, here we go, let's do this thing.
So we are going to talk about Borderlands more, friendos. We are going to talk about a lot of things, but as you've mentioned it, like, I want to hit into the meat of one of the things I want to talk to you about, which is that kind of core genesis of the show. And one of the reasons why I've ended up being such a fan of your video work is that it's not a review show, it's not a rage out. Looking at the heart and the emotional content of it and bringing that forward is feckin' dope. And like a lot of people, I did actually find you off of the no, I didn't find you off the Edgar Wright one. I was already following Chainsaw Suit. So I saw the Ninja Turtles one when it dropped, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I just
that was back when it was Chainsaw Suit original. Yeah. It was like that for the majority of its life. It only became Filmjoy about 2 years ago.
Yeah, now it's a whole real thing.
Hope so. buy my shirt. When I allow you to, because you can't yet.
Yeah, so currently it's not actually. Also, I didn't say it, but the editor gave us a little host, so cheers, mate. It's one of the things that it's so rare in our current kind of like content creation space, is that there are a lot of people very much following the outrage, chasing the next big thing to be very angry about, and then here's your show popping up as this little like bastion on the internet of a lot of people reference Sunshine when talking about you, and I think that's the episode I want to use as kind of like as a case point.
I think Sunshine and World's End really sort of articulate, I think, what my show would eventually be. Like Sunshine, I to this day remember how terrified I was to put that episode up, because
go on.
It stops being funny. Like it's pretty straightforward explaining what's going on, but at the end I get poetic with it. Yeah, and it came from a very real place, and I was like, if they don't like this, then they don't like me, but if they do, then maybe I'm onto something. And it like when you release big episodes, you tend to take steps up on the YouTube ladder. And I remember Sunshine, like people really responded well to that, and they still bring it up now. Like that one was very formative, I think.
And I guess for those who haven't seen it, or those who weren't aware, Sunshine was a very, very interesting sci-fi film. Was it Charlie Brooker that did that one? Am I going completely mental? Is that Brooker?
No, that are you talking about the director? That was Danny Boyle.
That was Danny Boyle. Okay, thank you. Now, what was interesting about Sunshine is that critically and by word of mouth, it was absolutely panned, and everyone was like, "It's a great start."
It was the third act, which is why sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
no, go for it, dude. They're here to hit you. They get to hit me all the fucking time.
That's true. I wanted to experiment with using the choices that a movie makes tonally in an episode. So like the third act of Sunshine is like, wow. So I wanted the third act of my piece to do the same, like to take a turn and try something. Which is what's fun about art to me, is like using the art to make new art. Like that's what YouTube is to me. It's funny because like there's so much stuff about Icarus in that movie, because that's the name of the ship. Actually, technically it's Icarus 2, which is like
Icarus harder.
It's funny because like, do you know what? Do you understand the reference? It's like calling your ship the Titanic 2. Don't?
The Titanic.
Like, but that movie literally ends with Cillian Murphy jumping across the surface of the sun, which is what killed Icarus. But because he has science backing him, it is successful. And like they literally kill like the devil of the universe because the sun is their god. And you have humanity using science to kill God or become their own god because the sun is no longer their source of life. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like you can just talk about it forever, but like I don't mind the third act horror movie because it is the devil of creation, basically.
Sorry, my chortle face was because Compliment Cat put up Icarus New Game Plus. Right? This is why I wanted to introduce you to this.
Sorry, I fall a lot. Sorry. It's my new life. My legs don't work. But I needed to give you a standing-ish ovation for Icarus New Game Plus.
Like I said, dude, I've been wanting to introduce you. This is the thing about doing streaming, is it's not like, come meet my audience and help my metrics engagement. It's more like, mate, you've got to come down the pub and meet these people because they're lovely.
Yeah. Icarus 2. Icarus was lost on us. That's very accurate. But I always found that naming just hilarious. Mm-hmm. The Icarus 2.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring up Sunshine is because, specifically, I did that horrible thing. I absolutely panned the shit out of Sunshine, having never seen it. Because of the word of mouth, because of the space I was in when that film came out, I was like, everyone says this film sucks, so I'm just going to assume this film sucks, and I'm going to talk about it like it sucks.
And it's like one of the most beautiful films ever made, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You have to watch it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. And the reason why I bring up the Turtles one is I remember as a kid loving the first Ninja Turtles film. And then watching your episode on it and being like, oh shit, it's actually good. There's component, there's meat, there's actual art and craft behind this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And so, I'm not going to make this a show about Will, but it's one of the things I've been trying to do with video games, is even games that are critically panned, even games that are looked at in a way of being like, oh, that game's naff! I'm trying to go in and look at what they were trying to do and trying to pull that out.
And the thing I like doing on my show, which has been there literally since the first episode,
Hells yeah.
Is tell you the director and also like what else they did and like the DP or the like go into their filmography, because that tends to influence and explain what they were trying to do. And it's funny when you go back to Ninja Turtles 1, because like that dude had directed episodes of Small Wonder
Yeah.
and Aha music videos and just this kind of like very eclectic thing, but it's a film. It is a very grainy and shot in a lot of very natural light, and it's doing like seeing Jim Henson's freaking Ninja Turtles, well, Creature Shop, but still like Jim Henson's Creature Shop Ninja Turtles in natural light on film.
Mm-hmm.
You missing it yet? Like that's funny to look at because like you ain't getting that now.
Yep, and it looked so legit.
Yeah, I almost made it too legit to quit joke, but I decided not to.
I mean, I respect that. You can keep it in your back pocket, like if we need to bust it out later, it's fine. So, okay.
Everybody in the chat, give me a hey.
Oh dear Lord. It's gonna be a day. Also, there's a chat delay, so while they're catching up, so what was the clicking point? What was the point where you were like, oh shit, this is a thing I need to be doing all the time?
I mean, it was a decision that was kind of forced on me because I was no longer physically able to do my job, and it was just like I was kind of past that point anyway, where I could probably take that on full time. But like,
I tell you what,
the first time it landed hard, where everyone was like, "Whoa." Fury Road. That was another one of those step up episodes where the audience just goes from where it was, and you're climbing that ladder. But Fury Road was like. It was a very important episode for me. It's still like people still bring that up all the time.
Oh, dude! Like as a fan,
on the reg, as they say.
On the very reg. As a fan, I think the thing I want to
bring up is here at my house. That's weird. Okay, ignoring that.
What I was going to say is the reason why Fury Road's a great one to bring up is that for that particular episode, you basically equipped people who loved something with the language and the knowledge as to why they loved it. Because sometimes that's really cool isn't a proper articulation of why we love the things we love. And so, yeah, you basically armed us to be incredibly passionate about that. So, yo, thanks. I wanna shift gears a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, because you are now doing this full time, but I want to bring back to like, so Borderlands 2 era and then beyond, like leading into doing this full time. So Borderlands 1, massive hit. Borderlands 2 blew the feckin' doors off and then some. And from there, like post-release content, Tales from the Borderlands, like you were doing Gearbox stuff full time. And then at some point you were producing a show for The Escapist as well?
That was way before that.
Was that way before?
Well, no, that actually was during Borderlands 2, you're right. Never mind.
Time travel.
It was during the development, yeah. But yeah, I've always liked hobbies. Like, I don't know. It was nothing was ever serious until Movies of Mikey and being like, oh, this could be a thing. And just like over time, Movies of Mikey grew into like, I'm just gonna try to be positive on the internet because YouTube, man, it's a hustle.
It's a place.
And it's hard to be like, no, here's why I love stuff when people are like calling you God, like I've been called everything. And like it was during Borderlands pre-sequel. I'm fuzzy on timeline here, but like when I came out as an asexual on the Mary Sue, which the internet reacts great to.
Oh god, yeah, Mary Sue. It's all
but like you're also just giving ammo to YouTube to just call you every homophobic, horrendous thing, and that never stops.
Yeah, YouTube's still a dumpster fire in that regard.
Yeah, and you just try to elevate the conversation to be like, I'm just talking about what I love. I don't need all this.
So, terribly sorry. Why are people doing the thing? Why are people doing the thing? Terribly sorry. So, Boarderlands pre-sequel, and it was almost a pre-sequel where you went into this full time. I think, for the framing of the conversation, for those who don't know, do you mind going into a little bit about doing this full time and how that happened?
Well, that was 2017, so here's a fun bit of info. I was working on Borderlands 3 at the time, which was kind of a big thing to like let go of, but like my brain was hosed, and my body was incapable, and because it was coming back from PAX East, my body shut down. A day later, I got a call from my dad, and I believe I had a conversation with him, but he's like, nah, you were just like, because I couldn't speak. I sounded like this, and if you go back and you watch the Moon episode, which was a couple months later, I mean, my voice is just gone. It's like I had to relearn how to talk, and like I was still making the show. I couldn't even move my hand. I was using the back of my hand and pushing down on my knuckles to edit. That's why the Moon episode is so short, by the way. But it's also an episode about a man's body dying out from under him and him trying to find meaning in the universe anyway. And I was like, it's a little on the nose. But that was sort of the thing, was like, okay, find a way to make this work full time. And I was terrible at it. As a business, like I think the show did all right, but it took me a while to like not be just angry at the universe for like upending my life and making me legally handicapped and all this stuff. Like it was rough. And that's on top of already having an MS diagnosis and all this. I mean, it's a lot for a person to sort of grapple with, and you treat your friends bad, and you treat the people around bad, and it's hard, and you're basically just trying to push everyone away, and you're like, let me die in peace, and that's a bad strategy. But like you have to dissect your entire life to sort of get back to a place of, maybe I am supposed to be doing this, maybe this is how this is supposed to happen, maybe I am the person that's supposed to be on YouTube being like, what if we're kind?
What if not terrible?
But like that was all kind of wrapped up in that. And I'm not the person I was. Like when you look back at like my video game career, which was long, and I did a lot of stuff like marketing the games and making trailers. I did the Borderlands 3 announcement trailer.
Which was
Gearbox
dope as shit.
Gearbox asked me to come back, and I was like, what about brick sacks? What about dumb stuff? And they were very supportive, and it was fun to kind of dip my foot back in there for a few weeks and get a matter again on that sort of stage. But it was also like I pulled back out and I was like,
I mean, at some point today, I do want to chat about the Battleborn opening, because it's still one of my favorite.
The anime thing? I had absolutely nothing to do with that.
Oh, I was hoping you did.
Sorry. No, that was a lot of people. Scott Kester was in there. Randy was in there. I mean, it was like outsourcing to an anime thing, but I have no expertise there, and I can't.
It was just the Deltron commission track, the setup of it, and
the first time I saw it, I was like,
because. Yeah, I have all the animation work for hire teams. I have like a little Rolodex of them, because back when I was games industry, I wanted to do something like that, and now that I'm not, I'm like, one day I'll have some money and I'll make a video and it'll be lovely. You gotta have dreams, friend. You gotta have dreams. Someday. So through the physicalities of not being able to work full time, you went into Movies with Mikey as a full thing. Filmjoy is now your full-time operation. So I assume that's just been like drinking a lot of mojitos, sitting around a lot, nice and chill.
I haven't. If you actually look at the dates of Movies with Mikey episodes, you realize I haven't really taken a break in like 5 years. So it gets to you. I mean, it's a job, but like my job is also talk about Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, like, which is easy to do. It's
Mate,
so good.
Everyone on that episode was like, you were like, oh, I could get into the weeds. And we're like, do it. Go for it. Just fucking freestyle.
That's why it was so good, is I could apply some of the, because like we were solving problems like that on Borderlands, like how to do different rendering styles and how to build all these shaders to do these different things that you wouldn't normally see. Like Spider-Verse does not look like a regular animated film by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But I could throw some tiny percentage of expertise that maybe your basic film critic wouldn't have an understanding of in quite the same way, and maybe I can bring something to the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think it needs saying necessarily, but I want to throw it in just for clarity's sake. That Borderlands, its 3D cel-shaded style was really fresh, and
not cel-shaded, god damn it.
But it bloody looked it.
It does it. Cel-shading is a clamping lighting. I flip every table. We're trained to do that. I don't care. You can call it whatever.
But really, we'd only seen styles like that in things like Jet Set Radio, Akami. Like, you're applying that style to a first-person looter shooter with a apocalyptic overtheme. Because I remember the original style of Borderlands from that first trailer, which like the almost realistic styling. And then what we got ended up being more interesting and more memorable.
Yeah, and it actually... what was really interesting to me sort of playtesting the art style was it improved the game because everything read better. You could see distinction between items falling and stuff like that. And it was like, oh, we actually also made the game better. Which I think that's why you get into game development, for that feeling of like, we're onto something.
Wait a second,
actually.
that works.
Yeah. Did chat die? Because I'm not seeing any more chat.
Yeah, I was just blepping at Tal, being like, are we okay? Because there's like 50 people hanging out. I'm just going to do like a little like, woo! I guess everyone's just having a nice little chill Friday. Yeah, this is the quietest they've ever been.
Yeah, I didn't see your woo though either. I just reloaded it and it's just blank.
Oh, is chat dead? Brilliant. So friendos, if you've been trying to talk to us, we don't have any chat. Let me check the, Oh, okay. My mods just got back to me. Chat is dead. Twitch know about it. Some pages aren't loading. Great! Brilliant! Of all the days!
Well, thanks for all the wonderful things you probably said.
Right.
I don't think we got a chat update since I started talking about sad stuff, so.
Well, that's why I thought everyone was just being chill. And then when we got into Borderlands stuff, I was like, wait, it seems to be quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Tal has been feckin' dope and pre-cooked a couple of questions. So I tell you what, let me throw those at you now while we're waiting for Twitch to fix their shit. So one of them's a pretty good general question for both videos and video games.
Okay.
And this one comes to us, it's a generalistic one, but it's a good flavor one. So trailers today show too much of what's, show too much in this question giver's opinion.
Okay.
What do you
I was
think?
like, I disagree with the premise of it. No.
Yes. What do you think about today's trailers? And can you give a good example of a good one? Some do's, some don'ts. Trailers. Let's talk about trailers. Because you made one for Borderlands 3. I'd argue it's right cracking, that one. But I don't know nothing about movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like, I generally, my perspective on trailers is different than probably big trailer houses. My perspective is give them a piece of entertainment and they will reward you if it's sort of entertainment peripheral to, but adding to and getting them excited about other things. Whereas a lot of trailers are just like, here's the cool parts of our thing. Maybe buy, And like, cause like Bricksacks, is not. Well, actually, I don't know. They might have added into the game. I don't know. But like, that was the thing where we had a meeting at Gearbox, and it was weird to be like back in meetings again at Gearbox after a couple years. But then it was right back where I left off, where I'm like, so let's do this thing, and everybody's like, that sounds like why? And it was like you have when you have talented people, you have people overthinking problems, which is what they're paid to do, which is what they're supposed to do. But when you're like, he's gonna play the saxophone, and it's you have people looking up the notes in the song, and like, I need to get, and it's like, no, just do this with his fingers. You'll cut back and forth, and no one will. It's fine. And like, we all kind of agreed to a plan, and like, we walked out of the meeting, and 2 hours later, we had a temp animation that was 75-80% of the way there, and it was like, just clean this up. And huge value for little effort, and that's sort of how my brain works. But it's like, how much of this like little stuff can you put it, like guns with legs?
Yeah.
And,
well,
like, just create value and entertainment, and then it goes from there.
If you don't mind me articulating on that one, so what was it? Not Alien Exodus, the newest Alien film. This is actually something I personally like your feels on. Alien.
No, that was a game. Danny McBride. Alien Danny McBride is what it is.
Yeah, Alien Danny McBride. So one of the things I found really interesting about that film is that their trailers and pre-release materials contain stuff that weren't in the film.
That's normal, and that's not generally planned. That's just a thing that happened.
Well, so what was interesting with this particular piece is that the colonists, learning about them and learning about their backstories and their reasons for being, sure it was Alien Exodus. Chat's probably going ballistic and no one can see it. Like, Will, you fucking idiot! It's aliens! Punch a gran in the gob or something like that. Whatever. I don't know why that's where my brain went with that made-up title. Do not punch anyone's nan, not your own, not other people's. I do not condone nan punching. Right. But they put forward the bios of the colonists and their interactions in pre-release materials that weren't in the film. What are your feels on, at least from a cinema standpoint, in those kind of external assets feeding into a core piece of art?
I think that's fine, but I think that it's sort of backward in a way where, like, above all else, you need your piece of entertainment, video game, TV, movie, whatever. That needs to stand on its own.
Yeah.
Period. And then I think when you do stuff like backstory expansions, also making that marketing is difficult because your aim is not to actually give the audience a narrative.
Yeah.
You're giving them stuff that's like, we cut it because it sucks, or we just made some shit up and threw it on Facebook. And like, I've been through marketing campaigns where like you have the people with the money being like, well, what if, and the to me, like, good marketing is entertaining. And if you want to expand the story, then do that for the purpose of expanding the story. Don't do it for the purpose of trying to hawk a movie that really didn't have story in that specific example.
Yep. I mean, I was proximity to Alien Isolation when it was going on, and so I'm still pissed at the new Alien film because I saw the care and heart that the team took on Alien Isolation, the game, and then the film that came out didn't even adhere to its own lore, and that was really upsetting. But that's another story. This isn't the Will Rants About Alien Isolation show. This is the Let's Ask Mikey a Thing.
Sorry, chat, which we still can't see, by the way. I'm sorry.
So while, and this is one where chat would probably go feckin' ballistic for, which is I'm kind of enjoying. So someone probably of international variety has asked, can you explain the catawumps joke?
Catawumpus?
Yes, catawumpus. We talked about this earlier. Catawump is the singular. Catawumpus is the plural.
Yeah, it's a single catawump.
Yeah.
No, so the muffled catawampus thing came from the idea of subtitles on like television where it's like there's a distant scream and it's in brackets.
Yeah.
And when I just start talking like this, I don't know. When I'm just sort of going off the cuff and doing something stupid just for the sake of entertaining you.
Yep.
I put up muffled catawampus in the brackets because it is like, well, we don't even know how to type this out, so it's just muffled catawampus. Is that a good enough explanation?
That's a solid, chunky answer. Because you were saying in the preamble, like, the one that everyone always asks about is the, but did you know?
But did you know? Yeah.
I didn't have a question there. That was a statement. I fucking love that bit.
Well, there you go.
Oh! That is a great idea.
You could tweet us questions if you want.
We're gonna do hashtag Ask Mikey.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Frontline replied to you, me, and
if you got a hashtag set up, go for it. I'll wait here.
Okay. With hashtag Ask Mikey. I'm sure no one else has used that.
No.
Hashtag Ask Mikey. Alright. There we go. Oh, it was Alien Covenant, not Alien Exodus. I have been informed via Twitter. It's still a terrible film.
Sounds like they belong like to a cult.
Little bit. It's not a cult! It's not a cult. Oh, and because chat's not working, they can't tell me it is a cult. Like, Mikey, I don't know if you can see this. They made me a badge that's hashtag not a cult.
They're all getting disconnected from Twitch because they're all flipping their tables and disconnecting their computer.
Screaming it is a cult. I insist that it is not a cult, and I will stand by those fecking words. Right, so back on the pre-cooked questions. Let's go for a cute, fluffy one.
Yay!
Current favorite film, minus Spider-Verse.
Current favorite film?
Minus Spider-Verse.
Minus Spider-Verse.
Yeah, because the medical amount of dopeness in the Spider-Verse has been well documented.
Yes.
I believe actually now if you pick up the Blu-ray of Spider-Verse, there's like a general surgeon's warning of the amount of dopeness in this film on the back.
Yeah, it says 11.7 out of 8.
Yeah, which we didn't think was medically possible.
That's a lethal amount in some cases.
Yeah.
There's too much dope. In the last couple years, the most impressive sort of movie I saw was the 8th grade, Bo Burnham's directorial debut. I was blown away by that film.
Oh, God damn it,
was
Mikey.
So... What?
Mikey Pierce stole our feckin' hashtag. Oh, no, wait, no, that's 2011. We're fine. Shut up. Please keep going. Please keep going. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Is it, though?
Please continue.
I mean, that just in the last couple years, that one's up. I don't really want to pick like a favorite because that would be ranking. But I have favorites.
Well, throw us a couple of the ones that resonate with you. I always had the problem of whereby good visual art can sometimes be hard to consume. So the things that I watch on the regular versus my favorites is...
I like to find films that do something... Like, I think everything Ryan Coogler has made is amazing. And the last 2 films he did were Black Panther and Creed. And Creed is like on a whole other level where it's like, not only did you make Rocky 7, you made Creed 1, and it's phenomenal. Like, it's the best. Creed is the best Rocky movie since like Rocky 2. Probably since Rocky 1, actually.
Which, by the general arc of the stars, should not have happened. It should have been a hot pile of garbage.
I mean, I was the person that was like, it's Ryan Coogler, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And I was right.
Congratulations. Actually, your I was right badge should have arrived already, but I don't know if it's gotten there.
Oh, it's actually, is the thing in the envelope over there? Yeah, it's on the table. I didn't open it.
Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, I did a stay in post-production for like 3 years. So before I got into video games, I was in a post-production house in London. My general cynicism of film came from being exposed to the worst parts of it as an industry, which is why your show has been fucking great. So we've had 2 from the Ask a Mikey hashtag. Both of them say it's a cult. Feck you all. It's not a cult. It's not a cult. However, so Stooge threw us a good little question. Is there a good movie Is there a good movie that it took you a long time to see because the preceding film in the series was terrible?
That's an excellent question, but it's like hard to...
Yeah, dude, you don't think we're gonna get the soft ones? Stooge cooks up the good ones.
For sure.
And while you're thinking...
I'm sorry, I'm looking at my shelf.
Yeah. Because we've often talked about the Highlander 2 straw. But... Oh.
Skyfall's up there because the movie before Skyfall was... Quantum of Solace. Which was not great.
There's something of Boris. I forgot what it's called.
I just like the Quantum is like the most of something you can have, and Solace is like, it's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the most. It's fine.
It's the most. It's the zenith of mediocre that it could be.
The zenith of mediocre is such a good James Bond title. I need this film in my life. James Bond returns in the zenith of mediocre.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, and then like, did the title just salute me and say you're welcome? I don't understand.
Oh. Yeah, because I always find the Highlander 2 thing is very, very interesting, whereby a preceding work can, at least from like a narrative standpoint, actually actively detract from its previous work. I always find that curious. So like Highlander 1, great self-contained film. Highlander 2. Oh god,
Highlander 2.
Surprise! They were space rebels, and they're cursed to be immortal sword ninjas on Earth as punishment.
You're actually getting at something that I do love, which is the canonical sequel after a very bad sequel, where the very bad sequel like damaged the very fabric of the universe and killed characters.
Yeah.
Such as X-Men: The Last Stand, for example, which just and it's like, how do you come back from that? Like, how do you, without, because like soft reboots, Star Trek, X-Men First Class, stuff like that. But it's like, how do you repair the damage done in a cool way that gets people excited again for the reason they were in the first place? I find that fascinating. And I think Star Trek 1, like the J.J. Abrams reboot, is, I mean, it's Star Trek, but it excited me and made me laugh, and it was cool, and it looked great.
It was a very different beast.
You probably didn't need to explain the Kobayashi Maru, which is why prequels are weird, because it's like whatever the thing you had in your head was definitely cooler than whatever they were going to do.
Yeah.
Which is like Captain Kirk just like fucked his way to the answer, and you're like, well,
I found
that's not great.
I really want to always point at Spider-Man: Homecoming as a film that was happy to just be like, you know what, you know it, and if you don't know it, you can work it out.
Yeah, I mean, good God, there's so many movies you can pick up to know it at this point. Homecoming is great. Like that's such a good example, because that scene in the car blows my mind every time. Like when he shows up at the door to pick up his date, and then like the villain answers the door, and you're like, wow! Oh! And then like that moment where Michael Keaton realizes, wait a minute, that's Spider-Man, and then they both know who the other person is, but the date doesn't.
It's so well done.
It's perfect tension. The writing, cinematography, editing, everything in that scene is just...
So, Mikey, I was going to put forward a thing. I just need to go quickly bash on some things with a hammer.
Okay.
I'll be back with you in just a minute. So you're free to grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or talk to these lovely people as you need.
I will go ahead and tweet questions at Mikey Face, and I'll answer them while he's doing that. But I am going to run to the restroom, so tweet me
Great.
now.
Squad break, and we're back in 2 seconds, friends. 2 seconds.
Squad break.
Terribly sorry. Ooh, close the door. Oh, I overshot the chair there. Nice move, Will. Nice move. And this is the sad thing. I can't even talk to you, lovely folks. I think I can force
what
refreshing.
timing?
I know, right? I'm still sadly not getting anything through here. Some people say they're getting like icons and stuff, but yeah.
Should I reload Twitch? Maybe that.
Although one thing I was going to say is that if we end up being in the situation where friendos can't ask questions, do you want to play some feckin' Rocket League or something? Or just, not right now, but like this afternoon if you want to just play some Rocket League and fucking smash some stuff.
I got a hard out at 5.
No worry, man, no worry. So how long have I got you for?
40 more minutes.
Oh, shit! That is entirely fine. I mean, it does give me an excuse to bring you back again. Because, well, I guess while we're air quotes on break, now that I'm doing this full time, like, most of the peeps who can't wave at the moment, but like,
Hashtag Sushackled.
Ah! Dash, you fucking ledge! Dash just donated $5 just to say hashtag such a cult. It's not a cult! It's not a cult.
Content.
Hashtag content.
Hashtag content.
Well, no, it's like, my little story's been kind of a weird one. Not naming any names, but I ended up jobless on my mate's sofa like a year and a bit ago. And so I was doing this because a couple of peeps who are in chat, the regular, were like, mate, gonna keep streaming? And now I'm in a glass box in an arcade in Seattle.
That's
like,
so impressive.
I was gonna say weird.
Yeah, I was too. I got a question on my Twitter.
Yay! Twitter question.
You've done. Is that how you do? Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It's from ManFant.
Who has a sweet hat.
You've done some re-edits on a few of your Movies and Mikey episodes. How do you come to a decision to really take more time on some art you've already released to the world? Is it indulgent for yourself or more about living up to some new?
That's a great question.
The re-edit, there's only 2. John Wick 2 re-edit was I got rid of the rap, which was just a thing for me because my body had died and I thought it was cool, and everybody's like, not cool. And I was like, okay, cool, thanks. People were really mean, and it sucked, and it hurt my feelings a lot. But no, it's
people are wrong.
Fine. It needed to go. And then that re-edit went nuts. That's the only edit in that episode, and the only other edit was Pan's Labyrinth, which isn't even up anymore.
Okay. Now,
and that was just to get rid of an advertisement for a channel that no longer exists. So
that's understandable.
Those are the only 2 re-edits, though.
Now, see, the thing was with the John Wick one, I was just like, because I have no musical talents. I've always been an individual that's lived in awe of people that can rhyme, people that can hold a beat in some description, which I'm physically incapable of. So I was like, I say this with love. Fuck you, Mikey. Like, you did the games thing, your show's dope, now you're laying some rhymes. I'm like, right, I'm just gonna go, I'll just be over here in the corner. Cheers.
I thought it was funny, and it was like a thing that I wanted to do, because again, I had almost just died. And I was like, maybe this is the internet does not forget, and the internet does not forget.
Yeah!
Which is fine. Like, I was totally fine to get rid of it, and it ended up making that episode way bigger than it ever would have been in the first place.
So, Tim and Dasky...
So it was good feedback, but it was like, you can't work out stuff the same way when you get an audience. Because, like, it was a very personal thing to me with this tiny audience, and it was like, you could work stuff out, and now it's like...
You've got a big space. So, just very quickly...
Which, it all makes perfect sense. I'm not trying to complain.
I know, I hear that. Tim and Dasky threw us a follow, which I'm very appreciative. I'm so sorry the chat is completely broken at the moment. So Mikey is asking if you want to ping Mikey a question thrown on Twitter with the aptly mentioned @MikeyFace, which is below his name, or hashtag Ask Mikey. Mate, it's been so long since I've had to unironically use the term hashtag. It's actually hurting me. It's actually hurting.
Trying to align this correctly. There it is.
There it is. And if I didn't say it earlier, Dash, thank you for the $5, yo. Mate, people donate me money. I spend that on food. That's how I eat. Like...
McDonald's accepts bits now.
What? I am gonna die.
Actually, how long is it, you think, before fast food places... It'll be Subway that does it first. Mark my words.
Okay, I can see it.
But, like, I wonder when they're like, we also accept bit cards.
Done and fecking done. So while people are cooking up some more, jumping back to the list that we have. Here's a fluffy one, but a good one. What is the most influential game in your life, video gaming wise?
Chrono Trigger and Rocket League.
Oh, double good shout.
If I wanted to kind of cover my bases. Rocket League is an actual sport now. I am obsessed with watching it.
Yeah, and you're really fucking good at it, which I'm not.
Well, I used to be. Then my hands stopped working, and I lost the feeling in them, so it's not quite as good anymore. It does the thing.
It does put a cramp on your top tier skills.
I see chat.
You see chat? Dr. Pepper Pepsi Pun Guy, Indie Kylo, are we back? By the fecking 9! We live!
Wait, is that the Kylo that I used to play Rocket League with? That would be funny.
If that is the same one, then feck my life, because I've been hanging out with Indie Kylo for like 7 months on here.
And then everybody's like, we got chat back. It's a cult.
It's not a cult!
It's a cult.
It's alive! By the fecking 9. Welcome back, everyone.
Are you still allowed to make Game of Thrones references?
Physically or emotionally?
Do I really need to answer that? We got chat back. Ask your questions. Get it did.
Just get silly.
Well, no, they're just going to
gods have deemed our cult worthy.
You said that.
Spiller just gave 500 bits to say the gods have deemed our cult worthy. It's not a cult. I've got a badge that says it's not.
This is a very profitable it's not a cult, because every time you do that, they just give you money to tell you it is. And then, like, what a feeding frenzy this is creating.
Mate, I wish it was some, like, clever, like, call and response thing. They're just doing it to wind me up. They know they can do it. I can pretend like if I was pretending like I was annoyed by it, they know.
Yeah. Hey, Kylo. Miss your car form.
Holy crap! Because Indie Kylo's been hanging with me for ages.
Kylo is very good at Rocket League.
Was Kylo one of the peeps? Because I know you and I played a couple of times. Was Kylo one of your like?
He carried me. That was basically how that worked.
And Frontline throwing 100 for "May we live forever in his evil cult-iness."
Just accept that it is. Just be like, it is a cult.
I'm not.
It is.
No, I'm not admitting
fine.
it.
It's fine.
It's like if I admit it, I can't take it back. Not cult. I'm gonna wear my second badge. Just up here. Right, so friendos, chat is back. Those of you that have come over just to hang out and ask Mikey some questions, throw them in. Use the @VikingBlonde in chat so it doesn't scream past. Because there's a few new faces, a few new names I'm seeing, like Red Galen and peeps. So, yo.
What's your hair wash routine?
Now, that is a strong question.
It's a weird question. Shampoo, generally?
Blood of your foes.
But, blood of your foes plus shampoo. So, like, Perk plus...
Mikey is our new favorite guest.
I don't like to do a knife stab.
I like
to do an
exclusive club made up of those who speak the truth about
it gives you a bit more jet stream.
Yeah, you get more of the sprays coming back at you. Dashkill just threw 200 bits in to say, Mikey is our new favorite guest. It's an exclusive club made up of those who speak the truth about the cultedness. You're all terrors.
I have no vested interest in whether it being or not being. I can only judge as an outside observer, and in fact, it definitely.
God damn it, Mikey!
Hey, you invited me. You invited me.
I should have known. But this is how...
Time for a Willow episode soon.
When Willow episode when?
So like that's the problem is once it's your job, suddenly doing your like favorite little movies that you know will get no clicks, which will actively make it harder to eat. Not always the smartest, but I
have no idea.
I try to do like 3 or 4 that are bigger ones, and like I have my sort of personal episodes coming up soon. I have one about looking at my thing over here. I have one about The First Man, the space movie. I love it. I have a lot to say about that movie, and I have one coming up about the Black Cauldron.
Oh yes! Now see if Mikey had all monies and could just do this for funsies, the one I'd love you to do is the weird animation that the guy who does all the Final Fantasy concept art did. The Dragon's Egg, I think it's called.
Just all go subscribe to Filmjoy.
Oh yes.
And then maybe.
Yeah.
Get that sub number up.
I mean, I've thrown a link in chat. Like, I don't think it's going to shock anyone to hear that Will really supports movies with Mikey and thinks that you should sub to Filmjoy.
That's awesome. What Tardicus just said, Pushing Daisies was my favorite episode, and it's like, so not any clicks on that. Like, that's like 3rd from the bottom. From like all the way back. Like, so it's lower ranked than all of these old episodes that no one saw. Anyway, like Pushing Daisies, no one clicked.
See, I watched it and then that...
But I do enjoy that episode.
That got me to go back and rewatch Pushing Daisies because I ricocheted off that pretty hard. And again, going into these series and being like, this is why, if you like this, this is why you like this. This is the emotional content this brings. It's far better than the review shows of being like, I give it 3.5 stars out of 18.
I give it 4 popcorns out of 1,205.
8 fists out of 17 hands. It's like bartering in a medieval fair where you don't know like the resources.
I give it 1 silly putty made of pie.
I'll give you a quarter of a hogshead for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What does that mean? Is that good? Is it bad? What am I buying here?
A hogshead, apparently.
I mean, Dr. P's just doing shout-outs now, saying you're seeing the Scott Pilgrim versus the World one. Like, you're...
But versus the Melancholy in the Infinite Sad. That's an odd... Although he does wear the Smashing Pumpkins logo T-shirt because Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
which was clever.
Sorry was saying, what's your favorite subbed film, like non-English language film? That's a good one.
A Very Long Engagement.
Good shout. Good shout.
Gotta get a little Jean-Pierre Jeunet in the air.
Yeah. How did the Amelie episode do? Because that cracked me the fuck up.
It did a little better because I had a McElroy in it. That always, but I remember when I was like doing that episode, I reached out to Justin and I was like, dude, like when I announced this, every single person was like, you got to get Justin McElroy. And I'm like, easier said than done. But I reached out and he was super cool. He actually just gave me like 4 minutes of him being like, hello, Mikey, I'm Amelie. And it was just like riffing off the cuff. He just sent me a giant wave and made a thing out of it.
That's fucking
It was really cool. I love how like random, because you're like, he's not gonna do it, is he? And then it happens. I love that bit in the episode.
I mean, Scarage is giving a shout out to the lessons animation taught us, which was real cool. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I get to chat with a bunch of animators on the regular, knowing nothing about animation. So it's always interesting hearing their positive feedback from those. Twilla's got an interesting dice roller one. Are there any genres you feel that that non-English speaking countries do better?
Wait, what? Sorry, you're breaking up. I couldn't.
I do apologize. Are there any genres that you feel like non-English language territories do better?
That is a good question. Like,
yeah.
Nobody touches. Is twee a genre? Cause like French people got twee on lock.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't really think about movies in that context. Like, especially non-English speaking, because like there's so many English speaking territories. Like New Zealand, one of my favorite films comes from New Zealand, Whale Rider.
Oh wow.
Which is an English speaking film, but it's also a tiny little film.
Yeah. New Zealand film industry is weird.
Yeah, but like this was about like, it was specifically a response to the sort of ingrained, very odd traditions that have sexist tones to them, and like challenging them and finding a way to be like, no, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I don't exist, jackass. And like, Whale Rider holds a very firm spot in my stomach. Heart. Why did I say stomach? I eat it, Whale Rider.
It's in the near cockle region.
Give me all your whales.
That's what we're having for dinner.
It's got a lot of emojis. What is the best Rocket League car? I'm glad you asked.
That's the Strongans.
So the cool thing about Rocket League is most people use the Octane. But I love I love any team whose makeup is 2 Octanes and a big car, which used to be the Batmobile. But now it's more the Dominus, it appears. But my favorite Rocket League play is being the big car, so probably the Dominus.
Way cool.
Thank you for an excellent question, and I'm glad you let me get in the weeds like that.
So, jumping over to Twitter, Jackson G threw an interesting one, which with a little bit of a tinge of feels for this one, which is, how has the way you've engaged with video games changed since you, quote, unquote, almost died?
Well, like, part of that is, like, when you almost die in that way, you're not playing them. Because I didn't engage with them at all for, like, a year. Just because, like, I tried to play Rocket League, like, 4 or 5 times, because I used to play every night with my friend Chris and Guthrie, he works at Gearbox. And we would play ranked, and, like, I reset to 0, because I could. When you can't feel the right stick, you're in trouble. but like lately it's been playing a lot. Like I love co-op games. I really enjoyed Far Cry, actually, the last one. New Dawn. It's campy, it's silly, it's super fun in co-op. So that was really good.
It's got a dog that brings you guns. I mean,
it's got a dog that brings you guns. Clip that right there. This is the voice of 102.9.
Dog that brings you guns.
A dog that brings you guns.
I gotta grab some of those. Tal would like to ask, what is Mikey's favorite anime? Of those animes, those Japanese animes.
I don't watch anime. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm emotionally hurt. I'm not physically hurt.
Everybody always is, and I'm like, I gotta watch all the other movies. I mean, if you force me to pick one, and I can't say Miyazaki, I would say Trigun, because I did watch all of Trigun, and it did affect me, and it did very much bring me on a journey that I very much appreciate.
That's an excellent shout. And to be
fair, I'm glad I could give you a real answer, even if it dates me incredibly.
To be fair, the only reason why I'm back on the anime kicker was that while Sed mentioned living on sofa, you used to be able to watch Crunchyroll without adverts by just using an ad blocker, so I just used to cap that.
That's funny.
Alan says, top 10 anime betrayals. Wait a second.
That was number. I just gave you number 2 on 102.9 the Mikey.
1 million, yes. So, yeah, we've been blitzing through these questions. So, friendos, you got questions for Mikey? Throw them in. Throw them in. Do not hesitate.
You're not excused for not really well. Okay. Oh well.
It's okay for them to be wrong. So while we're waiting for some hot cooked questions to come straight on out the kitchen. So what's one of the biggest changes for going independent, going at this full time? Like taking the physical changes aside, what's one of the big changes in your life since doing this full time?
I mean, when you have to take care of yourself in a different way, because like life is more challenging anyway, but when you're sort of responsible, like you don't have to shower and go to work because like you work right here. That's the thing you gotta kind of get acclimated to, is like take care of yourself, but also like do your job. I keep seeing like a delay of me on this other screen, and it's like, what are you doing with
very surreal.
Michael, 30 seconds ago.
You can send yourself messages to the future.
Yeah, it's weird how you can be disappointed in yourself half of 1 minute ago.
Right? That's my everyday. Yeah. I think I'm really funny until 30 seconds later. I think I'm really funny. So have we nailed it on questions? No, we're doing good. We're actually caught up. Check us the hell out. Ooh.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
So thank you, Pun Spectre. So Manfant, which is a cracking username, wants to throw in a nice little question, which is that music is involved in some significant ways in your work. Are you an avid music fan? Do you have a strong personal feels about music in your non-movies with Mikey, non-video game life?
Absolutely, but like the thing is, if it's Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, I'll go out and say it. It's gotta be the Mac. No,
Big Mac attack.
Is there a better album? I accept your silence. No, I love
Hell for Heroes, the Neon Shudder, both.
music is very important. And like if you go through my work, you'll notice a lot of times I'll use music in an ironic way, or sometimes a very straightforward way. Like in the Spider-Verse episode when I'm talking about offset printing, the thing that kind of makes older comics look all fuzzy.
Yeah.
I use a beat from the rapper Offset. But like I used, and later in that episode, I used, God, I don't even remember that. I don't know. Like using more Puerto Rican music in episode about Miles Morales, right? Like that's part of his heritage, so I can throw it in there and not really talk about it and just make it part of the fabric. And that's always been kind of my show, is like finding ways to talk about it on the sort of audio level, and not directly reference what I'm saying.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you a fluffy question, and then I want to ask you Frontlines question.
Do it.
So Sorry Greenfire wants to ask you what your favorite childhood video game is, because there's Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, give me an age range for childhood.
I want to say 14 max.
15 max? So that is 1990...
I mean, personally, I would have described myself as a child until probably about 22, but there we go.
When did the N64 come out?
I want to say 97. Am I going completely loopy?
I don't know.
If
you know what?
It's a nice N64 title, thank you, go for it.
Well, it's funny because if you go back to like early childhood, their NES RPGs, Crystallis, Foxanadu,
You're laying down some good names.
Final Fantasy 1, obviously, all of the Dragon Warriors, or Dragon Quest, if that's your parlance.
I'm so glad you're on the show. I'm so glad.
But and like that. What's funny is, here's the saddest thing. Unsubscribe for me right now because of what I'm about to say. My favorite NES only.
Okay.
Because this doesn't hold up past the NES. But my favorite NES Castlevania is 2, because, and I subscribed to Nintendo Power, so I cheated and knew all the secrets, so I was never confused. I knew to kneel with the thing.
Okay.
So, also you have to understand that. But like, I appreciated the journey it brought me on. I appreciated the grind because I was like 7 and I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It was like, you need to work for this whip. And like when I finally got the whip, I was like,
I mean,
what's up? That's a Morning Star, dog.
Mock surprise aside, like so long as you had someone like explaining to you like the mechanics, be it through FAQs or through Nintendo Power, like it felt like more of a living world than Castlevania 1, in my humble opinion.
True story. And using the American parlance once more, Final Fantasy 2 was more influential to me than Final Fantasy 3. Not that Final Fantasy 3 isn't a masterpiece, it is. But 2 like took me on a journey, and I remember I played it with my sister all the time, and like we would fail, like the three sister boss fight was mind-blowing to me, and like Palom Emporium and going to the moon, and I just have so many distinct memories from that game. That was huge in my childhood.
So I got a bit of a feelsy question from Frontline that I'd like to put forward to you.
Sure.
One of your videos that they were exposed to was after you came back from the hospital. It was an emotional video, but they saw your determination. How difficult was it to edit and make that video? Which I think might be the moon one that we touched on a little earlier.
The 2 that you can really tell I'm messed up is Moon and Arrival. And Arrival, like Moon was about dealing with the fact that something horrible had just happened to me and I was trying to find meaning in the universe again, and like Arrival was like how to find new forms for like the shape of love in a way. They were both really hard. As Force of Will, I don't even know. Like Moon, my neck, because like all of my muscles basically atrophied because I was in the hospital for so long, and it was like I was a newborn doing Moon. because I couldn't hold my neck up. So like, I'm editing like this, you know, and that was pretty intense.
No, a friend and mentor to mine who's sadly passed since. My buddy Tony Luke, he was a comic artist in Japan for a bunch of years, and then moved back to the UK. And dude survived like cancer like 3 times. Had his internal organs like rebuilt by science. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, dude, how do you keep going? He's like, just force your will, just force your will.
I mean, you either lay down and die, or you figure out what you're gonna do. And I decided, what if I try to make people joyful? What if I just try to make all of our march toward oblivion we're in right now in the world? Like, what if I just make that a little more comfortable?
And it seems so simple.
Good enough.
It seems so simple to say out loud, but it's something that I feel we're lacking so sorely. You know, you're working on a platform that does not promote kindness in the same way that it promotes outrage.
Well, yeah, but like at what point, you know, when like we're engulfed in flames and like watching the world burn around us and our neighbors dying, and then you're like, here are 68 reasons The Last Jedi like, at what point are we just like, this no longer has value? Tearing apart everything when it's already torn apart. Like, at what point does that no longer have value? And I think I might be sort of raging in a very positive way against that in some way.
Hey, it's one of the reasons why I reference your stuff so much. I'm done with angry white guys on the internet. But on that topic, you tackled The Last Jedi head on, dude. At a time where everyone wanted to like create like little straw man effigies of its director and set fire to them, you took a stand and defended that film. And I guess it's
in a very purposeful way though, because I was like, whatever you think is fine. I ain't here to tell you you're wrong, but I am here to tell you why I loved it, and I did, because like, I don't care if anyone agrees with me. I just want to share that, you know.
Sorry, Aldous was like, points to Cinema Sins. They will be the first to go. Nostalgia Critic, he's going on the pile first. And I can say that because I don't work on YouTube.
I have no comment.
Set him on fire. Mikey does not endorse my burning of the Nostalgia Critic. I'm speaking only for myself. Set him on fire.
I absolutely will not talk about that. But I did interact with Jeremy from Cinema Sins once, and he was very kind. And that's all I'm going to say.
And Cinema Sins goes for a humor point. It's just that...
I'm not here to tear it down. Like, it's fine.
Yep.
Do what you're doing. I'm gonna do what I'm doing. We're all cool. It's fine.
I think that while I could be described as a great many things, cool is absolutely not one of them. So friendos, like, I went full fan when I met Mikey the first time at E3. Like, there was no chill. There was no chill. And there's been no chill.
We were next to the Payday 2 booth, which also had even more no chill.
Yeah. So I guess,
so it worked out.
Yeah, in some economy, and well, we can't talk about it. There's still little things. Even though it would have been a car crash from a biz dev perspective, if the things that we were like chatting about had happened, they would have been dope. Like, in a mystical world where money doesn't matter, they would have been great. But they would have been a catastrophe.
Oh yeah.
And again, I'm always amazed that any of the peeps I meet, like, from the convention scene and stuff, ever want to talk to me, because this is the energy level I'm at on the consistent. I actually feel I'm calmer these days than I used to be.
It's tough not to be at 1 million at E3. Like, PAX can award you chill. E3, no chill. Like, you have to be operating it. Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, you want to get some coffee? No? Yeah? No? Okay. Hey! Like, that's just E3. Whereas PAX is like, would you like to sit down on this beanbag with me and just enjoy? Just enjoy.
Yeah, PAX puts me up to full hype. Like, I run hot for like 5 days. Mate, last year we accidentally went hard on day -1. I stole a bag full of street waffles. It was a good night.
Did you just refer to something as a street waffle?
Street waffle. The
I
caramel.
was like, yo, give me one of them street waffles.
Yeah, it's a cool drug term. Don't you know cool drug terms?
Put it in, let's go.
I do a whole drug sometimes. Like, not even a bit of one. Sometimes I'll smoke a drug.
I didn't say it.
Saitlin's still dreaming of the live movies with Mikey at the Marriott lobby outside of PAX South.
Sorry, I'm catching up on.
It's okay. It's a good daily read. So it's always like I want to talk about the great PAX stories. I don't want to, because I know you haven't been able to attend PAX for health reasons, and I completely understand. I will say, like, the Mikey pizza parties became the stuff of legend, and
those are fun.
No one's taken up the mantle, but everyone gathered all the same. Like, this PAX just gone, and no one was standing around being like, "Oh, where's the pizza at?" But everyone was just there.
I should like send pizza to the Marriott lobby and just not be there, but be like, here you go.
I mean, I won't say no. I'm indie now, so like that's free food.
Yeah, that's fair. Pizza, free pizza.
Right?
Who says no to free pizza? Show me the face of a person who says no to free pizza.
And I will show you a liar.
Other than gluten intolerant people, I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
They get a pass.
They might need a prerequisite to the pizza, but they're not saying no to pizza. They're saying no to cheese or like whatever it is gluten people can't eat.
The bread, that's what gluten is.
Well, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I need to apologize to a lot of people. So I'll be doing.
Yeah, if you thought gluten was cheese, you're in trouble.
So we were jumping back in. Manfan's asking a feelsy-based question, which is that sometimes we need a good cry. Are there any films in your collection that you go to when you just need to kind of have a feels jam and just get that out of your system?
Yeah, it evolves over time. Like if I need like an epic cry, like I need to cry the soul out of my body, In America every day of the week. Because that movie will make you just cry your insides outside.
Mine's a weird one. Mine's the first Battle Royale film. Once they start rolling that end credits music, I'm just like... every time.
Ah, yes, the movie where children kill each other.
I didn't say it was a good choice.
The feels.
Well, because it runs at such a silly level, and it dances between
it does.
Childhood drama and like over-the-top action murder, and at the end, you're just showing the picture of them as a very real class, and it's like, oh, they were all children.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The funny thing about Battle Royale is I am so glad that was never remade by America.
Thank.
Because if there's a movie we would screw up unapologetically and add friggin' Dane Cook to it in some way, like, God.
Yeah. My good buddy Camille K's got a really good strong question, which is, what's the statement that summarizes what keeps you going, Mikey?
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the last comment. What'd you say? Sorry.
What's the statement that summarizes what keeps you going, yo? The yo was added by me.
What's what keeps me going?
What keeps you going, yo? I keep adding the yo. That's not intentional. I'm gonna blow my nose. This is gonna be gross. I'm sorry. I feel like that's an answer in progress. Sorry, what?
I don't even know what's happening.
So chunky. I just got over a cold. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm back. We can come back to that one if you want to look at McIsland Films' question.
Was it a question or just like a... Because like I remember that night because I had to sprint from my panel to go to the documentary. as well.
Oh wow!
And I had a very healthy cry at that film, but obvious reasons.
I haven't had a chance to see that one. Oh, and Frontline, I'm very sorry about that one. We have it so that
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Wahoo. I have two cues that need asking. What do you think about the game Discworld? Plus, are there any Windows 95 games you'd play again with no guide? Hey, and cerebral laughter.
All right, so Bring the Thunder. What are your 95s? And did you have a chance to have a crack at Discworld, the point and click?
For starters, I believe the Discworld is spelled with a C, not a K. No, like Discworld immediately puts me on the path to like Discworld makes me immediately think of like Neverhood and God, that whole plethora of amazing LucasArts adventure games from back in the day. Full Throttle, all the Monkey Islands, The Dig, which nobody talks about enough, but was exceptional, and we should talk about it, even though it wasn't as funny.
Hells yeah. Someone did like a really trippy ass game recently called, was it like the Eternal Castle or something? So I got to chat about Dig a little bit while playing that, but you know Tim pretty well, right? Or am I going completely off the rockers?
Schaefer?
Yeah.
I did a couple, there was actually, I'm curious if it exists on the internet because it was a game trailer show, but I did a panel,
hey,
I don't know.
Someone else really remembers the Dig, but that game was awesome, Tilda.
A panel show where it was me, Tim Schafer, and Cliff Bleszinski.
Who makes musicals now?
Yeah, I love Cliff. He's a good friend, but yeah.
I'm a Hans as well. I've met him a bunch of times. Also,
he's always been very kind to me. He always asks how I'm doing. He wants to know about my illness. He's very attentive. He's a good guy.
And he's been dope with me back when I was like fresh-faced 2013 Will, and when I was like BizDev Will. He's always been cool. Also, Jared threw in 200 bits just for some support of the Dig.
See, making you money, pulling out these hot references.
Mate,
yeah, I should start a new YouTube channel, and it's just Mikey says titles of games, and it's just, I'm just like, Island of Dr. Brain,
Blam!
Castle of Dr. Brain,
Blam!
Where? Like, yeah, it's just Will's in the background.
I've had that in the bag. What was I saying? I got excited about the Dig and lost my own train of thought there. Yeah. Brilliant. Oh yeah, so
that's fair. That's fair.
Some Windows 95 games. Do you want to do some quick fires in that space?
I mean, being honest, given my age, the first 6 months after Windows 95 came out, the thing I executed on the most was I watched the music video for Weezer that came on the disc. It was like the Happy Days for what song was that?
If I could give you a hug right now, I absolutely would.
It blew my mind. I was like, video on a computer? Surely this is not how it works. And now that's literally my job. Buddy Holly. Just forgot the friggin' name. I'm sorry, chat. Forgive me.
I look just like Buddy Holly. I spent a bunch of time going through this.
And you know, no, sorry, what?
I spent a bunch of time going through all the old Magna Carta discs and finding all the little Easter eggs and stuff.
Yeah,
Did you know
yeah.
Peter Gabriel made a bunch of CD-ROM point-and-click games. That were I played the shit out of those because that's what we had in the house.
They always advertise them in those Tiger Direct, like...
Right?
Yeah, and I was like, this looks like a great game.
No. But you can see where a lot of Mr. Gabriel's influences came from.
I actually, what is worth talking about, and both like before Windows 95 and Windows 95 era were those F&V games.
Oh, I missed
Deadliest
those.
Encounter, and that one with Dennis Hopper where he was like a murderer and just... So bad. Phantasmagoria, come on.
Dude, Phantasmagoria gave me such bad nightmares.
Not Phantasmagoria 2, just Phantasmagoria.
Yeah, Phantasmagoria 2 I saw, and I still haven't played to completion because that whole like Eldritch kills and stuff. I saw in a video game review show and I was like, nope. I saw a person get killed by a server rack and I was like, I can live my entire life having never played this game.
It's King's Quest 6, I think, the one with the women here today, gone tomorrow?
Yeah, that one was feckin' dope. And the guy with the golden eyes
was so good.
Always lead you to instant death. Bastard. No, just come in the water.
Pulling a real Shadowgate there, Roberta Williams. Google them. Those were all accurate. And people dropping Civ 2 in chat. Here's a cool thing. My old boss at Gearbox, Brian Martell, he was basically in charge of art for the whole company. He got his start at Microprose.
No way.
And I found out that he did tile icons for both Civ 1 and Civ 2. And I would go into his office every day and I was like, Brian, hey Brian, did you do the tile icon for the Diplomat in Civ 1? And like it was just always like one, and it'd be like, did you do the tile for the Settler? Just every day I would pick a random icon and he's like, dude, we're good.
Mate, that's the shit that I miss from working in video games, is that kind of stupid nonsense.
When you find out where everybody came from and everybody's got just cool stories from everywhere. It's like every company you go into, they all have cool stories.
It's like that moment when you've been hanging with someone for like, I don't know, like 6 months, and you find out, oh yeah, they were like a massive part of this huge franchise that shaped the industry, and they've never mentioned it. You're like, cool, great. I had a stonking question, and it actually fell right out of my head. Go Will! All right.
I had an original copy of Civ on my shelf somewhere. Give me a second.
Indiana Jones and the Secret of Atlantis. How come LucasArts could bust out that and not apply that same to their filmography? Also, Vagabond, thank you for the follow! Yes! I'm very grateful for follows at the moment.
Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is a better Indiana Jones movie than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Very yes. Honestly, that take is so known. You drop the mic, it bounces back up. Like,
and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The Swanee whistle drop.
Cool answer for Simon the Sorcerer. I got to shout out my fellow Filmjoyer, Ben Patton.
Yeah. And Regular House, you remember Ben? The ginger bloke, the other English one who came on?
Yeah. So he also, as a fellow person struggling with disability and kind of trying to find his place in the world, he jumped into speedrunning. And Simon the Sorcerer was the thing he came across because he had beaten it and he likes the game a ton.
Yeah.
He's beaten it so many times. And he looks and there's no like real speedrun records for it. And he's like, well, hang on. I could have the speedrun record for Simon the Sorcerer.
He saw a mountain that had not been climbed.
And he climbed it and got it. 2 weeks later, somebody beat it. And Ben's like, so then Ben beat that person. World record holder 2 times for Simon the Sorcerer. Ben Patton. Can I get around
yes,
the
Ben Patton. I wish I had a cheer button ready to go. I am going to get Ben back on, and he's made some noises about maybe doing a Worms tournament at PAX, which I've signed up for.
That's hilarious. That's such a Ben move. Such a Ben move.
So I don't know if I know Cypher Attire. I hope I do. But anyway, today's not about me. Today's about hanging with Mikey. So, friendos, if you've got any more questions for Mikey, cook them up, throw them over.
Yeah, you should string them through now because I don't have much longer. So
do not hesitate. Do not slow down. And I am going to drop some more plugs for Mike's channel. Infecting. So I guess not to end on a hard question, because I'm hoping some fluffy ones will come through. But I remember you saying with the episode on Thanos that you had a really polarizing reaction, even from some of your close friends. How was that handled? How was that to deal with?
I mean, I still very much stand by everything I said in that episode. And after Endgame came out, I was like, but I wish I had phrased some stuff. There's a lot of anger because that movie like hurt the people around me in different ways. And I put some of that energy into the episode, which I do regret that part, but I don't disagree with any of the points I was making, just maybe how I made them. But yeah, it was weird. Like the harassment was like a real thing. Like people were like messaging my friends on Facebook and my family and trying to get phone numbers, and like it was strange. I'd never experienced anything like that on YouTube. But now it's like people cite it and they link people to it. Because it spoke to more people than pissed off, because more people came to me and said, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah. And that was worth it right there.
I mean, I'm with those beeps. And very quickly, Cypher Tire, I apologize. I know you. You know my stupid ginger flaily self. I apologize. And we will get back to chatting with your good self in a bit. So, quickfire questions. Vagabond, will there be any more TV Crimes podcasts?
Nah.
Shackle. Wait, no, that's a story, not a question. Stooge, what is your feel good movie when you need a lift?
Hot Fuzz. I mean, I don't even have to think about that. Hot Fuzz any day of the week. Or Scott Pilgrim versus the World, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, my personal favorite of the trilogy is still The World's End, because it hits a lot of beats that are very close to home.
It doesn't make you feel good as much.
But it's very real. It's very real. And this is the thing. There's so many stories we haven't even touched on, like the time you saved a life. While I was ratted. That was a fun night. I mean, you saw us at the end of that night, which was a bad night, but let me tell you, that hurt the next day. Heckin' hell. So if you have any questions, quick fire! Shackle's thrown in. Did you ever grab your ex-Microprose co-worker by the arm as they were leaving at the end of the day and so, please don't go. The drones need you. We look up to you.
I was actually at his house last week. We go swimming and hang out and drink and talk about the good old days.
Oh yeah.
But Brian Martell is still very much in my life. And yeah, sometimes I'm like, Brian, did you do any of the castle design? And he's like, Michael, it's been going on for 20 years. Stop it.
Actually, I got a question. Do you do any of, like, when you hang out with your games industry friends, do you still do, like, the war stories?
Oh, yeah.
Because that used to be a large proportion of surviving the games industry was going
to
pub with
There's a good reason they call it the trenches. Because you remember each other. Like, you remember who had your back and, like... Because you go to bat for each other, and you work through all the really ridiculously hard problems of making interactive entertainment and shipping it in a box. It's so impossible. Like, no game should exist. Every game is a miracle. We are way too hard on them.
Yes. If you want to quote Friends from the day, take that one.
Like, you are playing a science miracle every time you play a game. Also, Yoshi's Crafted World. That's a good anti-anxiety game, because you can also play it in like no death mode and just enjoy the pretty colors and the construction paper.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I'm really happy with this trend of kind of like Nintendo property plus craft supplies. Like, done, just done. Make it happen.
Yeah, everybody's always like, Sekiro is about challenge and dying, and you're not a real man if you don't play it. And I'm like, Yoshi, like.
Well, that's kind of the whiplash of what I've been doing at the moment, is I'll dance between Sekiro and then, like, Gardens Between Us, like a time-pausing feel-good game about two childhood friends having to leave each other.
There is no wrong way to game.
There is no wrong way to game. And it's okay if a game isn't for you. It is okay.
Yes.
All right, do we have any more quick-fire questions from Mikey? Oh, Alex is just saying that Lego games they go to. The Lego games are a treat. Such a treat.
That's great.
I guess, like, I have a teeny tiny question. Like, you did, like, 16 years in games. Was there one thing that you tried to do and weren't able to? That one little white whale that got away? And can you say it?
Yeah. Between you and me, Duke Nukem. I spent some time on that one. Not forever, like, stuff.
The classic.
It was a white whale. I could never quite get anyone on board with my stupid ideas.
Yeah. I mean, my two, I guess, were trying to get the Homeworld license while at CA and trying to get the Earthworm Jim license while I was at Rocketworks. A drunk called my boss at like 2 in the morning and went, "I just heard the Earthworm Jim license is up for sale. If you buy it for me, I won't ask for anything for Christmas." Well, you're drunk, go to bed. Yeah, but we can.
That's like walking up to the Street Fighter machine and be like, "Yo, mister, give me a quarter. I'm really good at this game. My Ryu is nuts. Give me a quarter. Give me a quarter."
Yeah, it's the biz dev equivalent of that. I still could have done something good with it. But now I yell at things in a glass box in downtown Seattle. So, swings and roundabouts.
All right, that'll probably do it for me.
All right, so Mikey, thank you so much for coming in today.
That was fun.
So I've plugged Filmjoy one more time. Friendos, if you're not following that one, if you want to support Mikey and what he's doing, he has a Patreon up. Go on over. The t-shirt he's wearing over there is not up for sale yet, but it will be. And
it will be.
A shirt that says, "Fight less, talk more.
Say sorry sometimes."
Say sorry sometimes. That's a message we get to. So, yo, if you can all join me in saying thank you to Mikey for taking a bunch of time, even while chat broke, even while the very fabric of Twitch was like, "Haha, we will sabotage."
Yeah.
Yo!
Mikey bits.
Stephen just threw like 1,000 bits in. That's like $10.
Whoa.
Yo! Sincerely, thank you.
Yo, indeed.
An exceptional amount of yo. Well, as Mikey, as you well know, I could talk ad infinitum. So, yeah, just thank you so much for coming on. I'd love to have you on for, maybe we'll play like some co-op games in the future together or something like that.
Let's do it. We'll play some Rocket League sometime.
Because it has been the best excuse to hang out.
Yeah, it's been great.
So, Mikey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue the show, play some games, chat with these lovely folks after. So, I will blep at you via the Twitters. So, dude, thank you again, man.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Will.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you for stopping by.
And Shackle, thank you for that, yo. Right. So now I just need to spend the rest of the afternoon recovering from getting Mikey to come hang out with us. It's no big deal. We did have a Catawampus joke. We did not have a Catawampus targeted joke. So, I don't know, did I fail as a host there? I don't know. And for all of you that have come out, again, throw Mikey a follow on YouTube. His stuff has been a huge inspiration for what I've been doing here because I love video games. I love video games with a passion, and I wanted to try and do something similar. I wanted to be able to show the heart and the care and the process that goes into making games. And if I even get a teeny tiny to the same level of empathy that Mikey puts forward, I'm doing something good. But you can't tell Mikey I was saying nice things about him, alright? You can't tell him. Like, if he comes back in, if he jumps back in, just be like, "Oh, Will was saying that you smell like old pizza boxes and feet." Yeah, Yeah, that'll get him. So, friendos. No, Wraith, Mikey did not say it was... No, he did say it was a cult. It's not a cult! It's not a cult. But seriously, Stepagen and Shackle, thank you for throwing bits in. The fact that we get to have Mikey on the show, that we get to hang out, is because you lot keep me alive! Even though I'm in vague states of undeath occasionally. Just occasionally. Right. I need to just quickly click on some buttons. Alex, Mikey said you smell like gluten. Like cheese? What do you mean gluten's not cheese? What do you mean gluten's not cheese? Alright, so just moving you all about. Also, I do want to throw a shout out because the Cypher Tio was in. I don't know if they're still chilling with us now. Tio Taya? They are an excellent friendo. They do a whole bunch of dope stuff in like the D&D scene. And just general around cool person. So if you're not throwing them a follow, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I wholeheartedly recommend it. Because while I talk a good game, they put it down. Oh, like the Nordic deity. Nice. I'm terrible at pronunciation, so yeah. I have butchered far simpler usernames than yours. I'm also going to blow my nose in the chunkiest of manner. So avert thine ears! Avert thine ears, friends! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Oh, why did you clip me being nice? Why'd you do this? Why are you like this? You can't tell, like, games industry or industry friendos that you say nice things about them. Like, there's an acceptance there. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, I will be clipping this off as a dev interview for people to... I've been rumbled! I've been rumbled saying nice things. Curses! One thing that I do need to clip off is, I just need to quickly send Mikey the Ben ripping the piss out of me, because I realised I haven't sent it to him. Alright. Share, copy the link, send it to Mikey. Alright. Spiller says, worry not, for we will not let the cult leader die of starvation. It's not a cult! It's not a cult. For a brief moment today, I was able to put forward, it's not a cult. And you know what? No one counteracted me. Not even... Yeah, not even people who sent donations to, say, to the country. Right. God, I've got a lot of messages. Oh, it's a bunch of people telling me, by the way, Twitch chat is down. Yeah, we worked that one out. Yeah. That was an interesting day. Right. It is really cool being able to talk to people like Mikey and introduce you all to him because, like, I don't know. I feel at the moment there's so much chat about how, especially in the AAA space, people get churned out and destroyed. And, like, it's not all death and destruction and doom and gloom, but being able to share some of those stories is great. And being able to talk about the genuine empathy and art forms and how they affect us is pretty fucking cool. So, yo. I've been looking forward to having Mikey on the show for a while. Yeah, now I'm just like, wow, that was a day. So I tell you what, friendos, I'm going to take a teeny tiny little break because I know some of you came out for Mikey and have things going on. We're going to roll on to some fun things after this. Although I will admit, there's a little part of me that's very tempted to just go back to Oxygen Not Included for another day. Now I know what we're doing. I'm real tempted. Like, real fucking tempted. Alright. Yeah. I'm very tempted. For all the clever games and things that I want to share with you all, Steel Fox with, wow, the chair moved. Are you kidding? Oh, actually, whilst, so Cypher Tier, I don't know if you're still chilling with us. At some point, I would love to grab you and bring you on the show at some point in a similar capacity, because I know you got stories. You got stories worth telling. But I guess that's fair. That's for another day. I can annoy you via Twitters on that one, so. It's alright. Alright, hit you up in the DMs. Nice! I will absolutely do the thing. Because it would be lovely to have you on the show, and those that have seen the things and those that have seen the explosions of how the games industry can be, how that space can be, like, yeah. I don't know, I think I'm on a bit of a personal crusade at the moment, just to counteract, like, a lot of the negativity and a lot of the media around the discussion of games. So yeah, and Arden, you are entirely correct. Mikey is an excellent human, and I understand far better now that I've been doing this full time how little time you have outside of work when you're trying to build something, when you're trying to make something. You know, as the human megaphone, as the vocal host of the Lone Ship, that's a lot of hours in a day. And so, being able to invite friendos on here and introduce you to them is the best. Because it's like I get to bring all the things together. That's fucking cool. Alright. So, friendos, I'm going to take a quick little 2-minute break. I'm going to acquire something edible in some capacity. This may be the time of the Giga Pretzel. If you've not encountered the Giga Pretzel before, oh, it's on. Now, would you like a bit of mosh pit? Would you like some interactive shenanigans while we're away? Actually, you know what? I'm doing it. We haven't done the mosh pit in a while. So I'm going to throw that in. Steel Fox is still heckling me. Alright. So if you haven't played this before, this is a dumb load of fun. So what it is a teeny tiny little, like, indie physics game by, is it Smart Pixel? Who's the team that made it? And you'll get to just basically create yourself a teeny tiny mosh sonar and smash into each other for great hilarity. As Isocrid says, it's a friendo blaster. It's made by Pixel Maniacs, who are a small indie team. I believe they're UK based, and they are a lovely bunch. So, in a second, dear friends of chat, you're going to be prompted to type !dance to